Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. I think it's the juiciest episode of the year. The kids in Cincy, sweep week, players only on a Friday. Judge is out. DeGrom is out. Manoah's gone.
I'm here, though.
Huh.
I'm here.
Rays sweep the Twins. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Code Talkin', $20 off your first order. Davis Wimbledon behind the ones and twos. Big Daddy Trev. North of the border, I think our first international appearance. Because, we didn't get a Mexico show out of you, right? So I think this is your first time across the pond.
What was I doing in Mexico that I couldn't do this show?
Sex. Matthew
Maybe,
Stafford.
probably. If I had to guess, that would be it.
Were you fully out when you were in Italy? I think
I was
so.
also out in Italy, yeah.
So
that was more of the time difference than anything I wanted to work.
That's hard to
I
coordinate.
swear I did. I swear I wanted to work on my Italian vacation. Yes, north of the border, I get to see the Blue Jays up close and personal. I saw the Rays. You saw the tweet. They were impressive in every facet of the game. But you're right, Jakey Snakes. Speaking of snakes, more about them later. This week of baseball is sheesh. That's what you would say, and LeBron. I got a few shout-outs I want to give, though, before we start, okay? I was down in Tampa talking to a couple of former, or not former clubbies, clubbies that I used to, hang out with. And one of them said, our guy, Matthew Yarborough, is a big fan, and he listens to your guys' show as he's unpacking and doing his stuff. Because will you give him a shout-out? I said, dang right, I'll give him a shout-out. So Matthew and all the boys down there in Tampa, what's up? Thanks for taking good care of me. Tank and Tom hooked me up with a bottle of wine for the flight. I was on the Big League flight again yesterday, people. Felt like I never left. And also, one last shout-out. Mrs. Singleton, John Singleton's wife. I should have her name up here.
I think it's Lindsay.
Lindsay Singleton. I'm sorry. I should have had that up. She also listens to the show and mentioned that she was happy to hear John's name on here. A nice little RBI single for him and their game. So shout out to her and to him and to everybody that listens. Thank you for the support. It really does mean a lot, man. When I get people coming up to me like on the road saying they listen to the show, it's actually I'm always like, oh really? Like you do? But then I realized, people obviously listen to the show. I got to remember that sometimes.
Yeah, it's always cool. You forget, we see the numbers that these episodes do, and sometimes I don't want to say we get numb to it, but you forget that's a lot of people and a lot of good baseball people. So that's always a fun reminder. And Trev, I texted you last night. You texted me. I don't know if the vino was flowing or what, but I was at home last night. We did a yes stream, running hot, recorded Talkin' Yanks after, and I was going through it, and I was like, my goodness, juiciest step of the year. And we'll probably cover the Zion Mariah Mills stuff at some point too. So I think before we get into the National League on a Friday, because that's what we do. Trev, I want to tell you about bird dogs, baby.
I like bird dogs.
Because I gave a passionate, weird speech last night. That's one of the things I do. I think bird dogs have become my travel shorts of choice.
Oh, travel shorts? What does that even mean?
Well, I never wear pants where I travel because I'm too hot. Too hot for that. One time I wore
I'm a
pants
guy only when I travel.
One time when I wore pants on a flight, I almost passed out. I just got too hot. I think
not in your bird dogs. They're breathable and they stretch.
Exactly. So I'm short, and I was kind of newer to bird dogs, and I was feeling them out, and then I felt them out, and they're awesome, man. I get excited when I get to wear my bird dogs. Stretch khaki shorts. They fit slimmer through the thigh. Oh! You guys might be familiar with Bird Dogs and their anti-stink sweat. I think that's what's good for travel, too. That keeps you cool and dry all day long. Go to birddogs.com/talkin. Enter promo code talkin for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. birddogs.com/talkin, free Yeti tumbler. So you'll be feeling cool and drinking cool with your tumble. Click the link in the description. Get your Bird Dogs going. You ready for some National League? Or do you want to start with the Zion stuff?
Live Golf, PGA Tour.
Just go generic sports show
Can
for a
you
day.
imagine, though? Seriously, like, it deserves a mention. Holy shnikey.
It was crazy. A lot of money. I think.
I also turned down Live Tour's money. Silly me.
Don't say live. Let's do the National League. We are heading out to beautiful Cincinnati, and what's that smell? It's Smelly De La Cruz. They call up the kid, and man, is it a couple nights to remember in Cincinnati. Matt McClain, how's your walk-off single in the first game? Sorry, Doyers. Hey, Will Benson, friend of the program, how's his walk-off first career homer? Elly De La Cruz hits his first career. We're going nuts in Cincy. Burrow's taking batting practice before the game. Maybe the best time.
Swing.
Maybe the best time to be a Reds fan since a minute. And you know what happens on the final game? Clayton Kershaw. I might put him in the Jose Siri doesn't give a fuck. Like, he doesn't care. He'll go 7 shutty on you. But man, the times are high in Cincinnati. Where the times are not high, the New York Mets, they get swept by the Braves, and it feels
not
like
having a good time.
It gets more excruciating every time, including the final game. Verlander, Strider, they get to Strider, they knock him around. Oh no. Walk-off season. Unreal. Ozzy Albies, the little monster. He walks them off. They get to your guy D-Rob, Orlando Arcia. We're punching the mound. And that was after the Mets dropped the first 2 to these Braves. Who's your daddy? It's Atlanta. My goodness. Mets fans in a tough spot. Jolly Olive. Your Giants sweep the Rocks, Trev. How about that? This was news to me with everything else that was happening around the league, but you know my guy Tyro Estrada was involved in it. Austin Slater with the big pinch hit, jumping into the game in center field. Patrick Bailey and Late Night Lamont help get it done for San Francisco. Okay, stay in the mix. Try to keep up with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They win their first 2 games, 10-5. 6-2, Zach Davies still throwing that changeup. And Trev, me and Evan Longoria, we're doing everything we can to tell you. Corbin Carroll's different, Pop. He's a freak show. 4 for 5 with the home run to cap it off. And that game was important to me because I was chasing some money on it. And the Snakes covered. So that was huge for Poppy Gordo. And that's what happened in the National League. A lot of IL, a lot of AL. Whoo! You didn't like Smelly De La Cruz?
No, I didn't. I didn't like that one.
Braves, 3 games up on the Fish as they have another nice performance this week. 37-24. The Mets are 2 games under 500. Hello. A half game up on the 4th place Phillies. Mets and Phillies wrestling in the mud right now. Speaking of Zion.
Phillies are doing nice right now. Don't lump them in.
The Milwaukee Brewers are atop the Central at 34-28. Pirates are 32-29. The 3rd place Cincinnati Reds. And speaking of covering each other's stink, the Cubs and the Cardinals at the bottom of the Central. What? The Diamondbacks scheduled tweet are on top of the NL West, 37-25. It is June 9th, 6-9. Nice. Dodgers are 2 games back. Giants, a game above 500. The Padres, 8 games back of first place, and the Rocks are down there. Trev, let's sprint to Cincinnati, man, because electric, man. For some of these teams that don't have the annual payroll near the top of the list or go through a rebuild, these are the moments that you remember. They call up Elly de la Cruz. And remember Chris Rowe's rotation, Jonathan India, and everyone, how are they going to play India and McClain and Elly? Well, guess what? If you hit and you can kind of field, we'll get you on there. And they did. And they have 2 dramatic walk-offs, and Elly looks every part of the part. And against the Dodgers, that makes it matter just a little more. Fun stuff in Cincy.
The stadium was going nuts. The tickets sold prior to his debut, and then his debut. I think someone said it was 9,000 extra tickets to come see him play. I'm assuming that's going to continue to climb because he is. I mean, you're right. He looks every bit of the part, and we saw it on all the highlights in the minor leagues. I mean, he's one of the only guys that I can remember in recent memory that we see minor league highlights on national baseball shows. This guy's hitting the ball so hard. When is he going to be in the big leagues? Well, he's in the big leagues now. And he did it against Tony Gonsolin his first game. I think that's worth noting because you knew he was going to be good just by his swing and the tools that he has. And I mean, he is quite literally, a 5-tool player. Tony Gonsolin is not an easy first game. And he went out and had a great game. You're right. The Reds are firing. The young guys are there. The energy's back in the city. McClain with the walk-off. Our guy Will Benson's walk-off was also very electric. I mean, that guy, he looks just as freakish as Elly de la Cruz.
Yeah.
Big boy homer right there. And you're right. He can also play a little ping pong. I think he smoked me and embarrassed me in front of everyone. So I don't want to give him so much shine.
You and Jom.
Well, Jom stinks, but he took me out.
That was one of the more physically. You don't watch a lot of ping pong matches and say this is a physical mismatch. But Will Benson's wingspan.
It wasn't fair.
That's all coming at you.
I've never seen that before on a ping pong table. And Jimmy, who's got a nice little ping pong game. He's
proud of it.
He's cute. It's a cute ping pong game. Will Benson had a power game that they did not match up. That's a spring training 21 video if people want to check that out.
Great series. And then, like I said, 2 walk-offs, 2 great games. We got all the guys coming up. You're totally right. Spencer Steer goes out to left field because Elly's playing third, and we got McClain at short and India at second. Like you said, play ball. They're going to find places to play you. So a great series for the Reds. And then, yes, Kershaw comes and drops it on the last day and says, no, let me just win this one for us so we can have a nice little flight out of here.
Yep.
But things are definitely looking up in Cincinnati. Yes, we saw Joe Burrow out there. I mean, no offense to Joe Burrow. I think he's an incredible athlete. He can throw the ball. He's beautiful on the football field.
Right.
But as we see time and time again, when you come out and take hacks or throw a baseball, it's the equalizer. I'd rate the swing. And again, I like you, Joe. I think you're awesome.
No.
You're very cool. I'd rate it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
It's pretty. It's
Listen, that's not so bad for how those can go.
I was worried where we were going to land there. I mean, usually the NBA guys come out and those are bad swings. I think
they're
also just too
I got to imagine Joe's
baseball.
played baseball at some point in his life.
Josh Allen took BP up in Toronto, where you are, and it was I think he went second deck, and that frustrates me.
He's strong. You can get a hold of a few. His swing also wasn't great. AJ Brown had a really nice swing.
Yeah, he's big baseball guy.
He really played.
Yeah,
played
he could
in
hit.
high
Yeah,
school, could have in college.
Reds, I felt rewarded. Trev, BBD, Jom, people that listen to this, we've discussed it on here. We talk a lot about how much we should discuss each team because it's daunting. We don't want to sound foolish. That's why we do you guys know your team better than us. We can't watch every game. And the Reds for the past little bit have been a tough team to talk about we've snuck a good amount of Reds in this year, and I personally felt rewarded seeing that scene in Cincinnati, because guess what? They got a bunch of kids that can bang, and busting out my analytics binder. If you have enough dudes that can hit, and you play in one of the Central divisions, you can hang around this year. Since he doesn't have the magic yet, and I don't know if they're going to catch the baseball magic this year, but I know if you have enough of those guys in the lineup, Spencer Steer has been a Rookie of the Year candidate. Tyler Stevenson, Matt McClain, India, Elly, those two guys in the corner, Fraley and Friedel, like they've both been hit. Like I just named 6, 7 guys. There's some teams, some good teams. You can't do that right now. So they don't have the juice yet. But I personally felt a little rewarded talking some Reds baseball because that was an electric scene up in beautiful Cincinnati this week.
This is actual size, thickness of Jake's analytical binder.
That's some good.
You
YouTube
looked at his binder.
Some good YouTube only stuff. And you're officially worried about the Dodgers. You think they're probably out of the race in the West?
Yeah, they are for sure. Okay. Don't talk about that. That's going to come later in the show. Shout out the Reds. Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse is just getting shouted out left and right. I believe the Dodgers had their a team dinner there. We got Todd
Have
Frazier
you been there? Is that like the only
of course
spot?
I have.
Yeah, okay. That's the spot in Cincy.
It's a spot. We had a massive show dinner there when I was on the Phillies. Lots of beautiful red wine flowing. But yeah, it's the spot.
The Dodgers did make their counter move. Cole Calhoun minor league deal there. You saw me react to it.
Oh, wow.
So
that's
going to click.
They're back.
David Peralta, big game for them. Trev, let's go down to where our friend Pete Moylan calls some games. The Atlanta Braves, they've been a constant this year. I think they've been atop the East since early to mid-April, and that's where you expect them to be, one of the best teams in baseball. The New York Mets, we keep waiting for it to click. There was a lot of injuries. There's, felt like one guy in, one guy out. They got the weird first inning thing that they don't do anything. There's a couple times they had that walk-off week. It was like, okay, here we go. They get swept. There's a lot of late game heroics. Bottom 6, Atlanta trails 4-1, and they have a 4-run inning to go take the lead in that game. Braves rally in the second game. Atlanta's trailing, and it's tied in the 8th. Michael Harris. And then in that final game, it's almost like you knew, man. We when we were recording Talkin' Yanks last night, put the game on, and we put the game on because you knew what was going to happen, and it was painful to watch, even for my fellow Mets fans, because whoa, the question marks are now big. People are calling the team old because when you're not getting what you expected, it's time to start finger pointing at anything. And it's kind of what we said in the team profile and projection. Like, I talked to some Mets fans. They say, like, everything kind of feels old right now. And guess what? If they were winning, they wouldn't say that. They'd say it feels professional.
Experienced.
But, dude, the Braves own them.
I think it's more like, look, let's give some credit to the Braves here. You mentioned the comebacks. There's just so many people to get it done in that lineup. Sean Murphy and that big old butt. What a swing he puts on some of these balls. Obviously, Ozzy Albies is a hero of this series. Acuna telling people that, hey, I can play defense, makes some great catches out in right field. It's been an impressive brand of baseball out of the Braves. And this series was great for a bunch of different reasons. You have the Polar Bear Pete in the first game yelling shit at Bryce Elder, and then Tyler Matzek yelling shit back. And now we got a shirt on sale in our store. Throw it again. And you know what? I'm kind of on the Pete Alonso side here. And I'm on Tyler Matzek's side.
Elder handled it great too. Elder said, if I went second deck, I'd probably be saying the same thing. Like, everyone handled that great.
Well, after the game, Pete's like, this is just like what is said in the dugouts. Like, there's just hot mics, and
Yeah.
sometimes they pick, and it's true. It's true. Like, you're competing, and like the guy hangs 2 sliders. Of course, I would say that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That's just ball players being ball players, and it ends up getting caught on camera, and then they end up losing. So it just makes it look bad. And Matt said, "Great on you." How do they even know that he said it? That's what I'm. There must have been someone watching the broadcast in the clubhouse, something like that. Word gets down, but or maybe he just said it loud enough.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone
hey,
could fucking hear it. I don't know.
A couple of those games that we've been close to the field, I mean, you can hear the dudes when they want to be heard, and Pete ain't shy.
Yeah,
Trev, I think what jumps out to me as I jump over to the Braves page a little bit, Jakey offense, I've been on that, the Texas Rangers, the Tampa Bay Rays, who you just saw up close and personal. The Atlanta Braves are now second in OPS, second in batting average, third in on base, fourth in runs, third in homers. Trev, Michael Harris is in their 9-hole. This is a guy who is one of the most electric players in baseball towards the top of their lineup. If he starts to figure it out. Arcia, I mean, what Braves devil magic is that? Ozuna, from the Braves. He's put together a couple stretches. Eddie Rosario.
he's been doing great lately, Eddie. My guy.
Their offense is banging, and man, I don't know. With what their offense can do, and that's before you get to any of their party tricks in the pitching staff, which, by the way, doesn't look like the Braves pitching staff you'd expect coming into this year. No Max Fried, no Kyle Wright. And they're still getting it done, man. That team, they're kind of on the Jose Siri don't care what you think list.
The fact that they got the sweep when, Elder gives up more runs than he's ever given up. Strider gets beat down. Like, that's the sign of a well-rounded team. Like right now, I'll just say it. My Twins couldn't do that. If the starting pitcher gets blown up, they ain't winning the game right now.
Right.
But the Braves continued to push offensively because, almost 1 through 9, they're going. I mean, Michael Harris, he's been struggling. Gets a bunt single. First at bat. Oh, the rest of the game is gravy.
Yeah.
Double, homer. Like, I've talked about that before. Get the confidence up. See your numbers move a little bit. If he gets going, it really is a 1 through 9 situation that's dangerous and can do damage. And that's just daunting for a pitching staff, when there's no free outs and you got to navigate and battle every single batter. It's very difficult. It makes your margin for error razor thin. And they're just impressive, man. They're like a set it and forget it team. And it's like, we'll just see you in the postseason.
What's your Mets panic level? I mean, are you giving the generic, hey, it's a long season, and, hey, Francisco Alvarez gives them a 2 ding-dong day? Like, there's still a lot of names you like to see on this team, but they are 30-33 right now.
I put them in the tier of good teams that I expect to be in the hunt. You want to hear my tier system?
Maybe, sure.
I'm kind of just making it up on the spot, but set it and forget it are the teams that I just say, hey, we'll see you in the postseason. Probably about 6 or 7 of those in the big leagues right now. And then within that tier, there's a high tier and a low tier. Doesn't matter. But then, there's the teams that I expect you will be competing. Maybe you haven't got off to a good start, or maybe, you did, and now you're kind of regressing a little bit. And then there's the bottom tier that we just, this year's not your year. So 3-tier system, I think the Mets are in the middle tier.
Okay. And I got it wrong when I did the standings before. Baseball Reference hadn't updated yet. The Mets are in 4th as we record. The Phillies did jump them by a half game.
Yeah, they've won a bunch of games in a row.
Yeah, Baseball Reference having I steal this line from Jess. It got me really good. She was looking at a really beat up house one day, and she said that house is really sleepy. And Baseball Reference is currently having
one of their sleepy days. Those happen. It's all right.
We all do.
We mentioned him in passing.
What was that?
Lying on a pillow in bed.
Mentioned
you
him.
next to her. Yeah, it's a beautiful sight.
Where's the pillow?
Let's move on to the Giants.
Mentioned him in
series.
passing, but I mean, Ozuna, as bad in April as you can have. People thought he was heading towards a release.
Yeah.
He's one dotting since the start of May with a 315 average,
and that's their that's their bonus 7 hitter.
Yeah, that's been consistent.
Trev, your Giants. I'll let you go a little bit because I'll be honest, I wasn't super locked on this series. More so on my side. I did text Cole Tucker a little bit this week, and I'm trying to get him on the rocks.
Oh, I did too.
So that's where my intentions are. Big Brandon Crawford pinch hit. What else you got from San Francisco?
I mean, they came to play in Colorado. First game, they just put up a bunch of runs here. Extended it. Got a good pitching. Got a good start there. I believe. No, second game. Anyways. I had notes on this freaking game, and my setup is BS right now, people. Just bear with me as I look for my notes here.
Scott Alexander's 5-0 record out of the bullpen. Is that what you're trying to talk about?
It's just hard to get my freaking sheet up because I'm using my iPad over here.
You're
I'm using
a grinder,
my fingers
dude.
to swipe through it. It's brutal.
Hotel setup. People get it.
Probably on Jess's Instagram right now, too.
Golly. Oh. Second game, what I love. Patrick Bailey, first of all, had a really good series. Offensively, that's the Giants catcher right now, or one of the Giants catchers. He does the old first and third bunt play. The Rockies defended it well, tried to get the out at home, but I believe it was Haniger just kind of got his hand in there, and they take the lead on that. And that's just, I feel like that's kind of Giants baseball. Like they can hit the ball out of the park, and they have some timely hitting, but they also execute the small things. I thought that was really cool. There's a note on here from Dalton. He didn't record any sack hits in the minors, but he has 2 through his first 16 major league games. That's the Gabe Kapler effect.
That's Giants baseball.
And to ask somebody to do that, because I actually talked to Rocco Baldelli about bunting for base hits, and we're just talking like, where do you stand on that? And he mentioned a few things that, we can have that discussion all day long. But one of the things that made sense that he said was, we don't ask guys to bunt a lot. So to have them do it at the big league level, they're not versed in it. Guys just aren't versed in bunting anymore. And Bailey, puts down a really nice one, gets the job done. They end up winning that game. Just a great series. There was a couple of highlights for the Rockies as well. Nolan Jones hit a ball. Holy crap. I think it was the second furthest ball hit this year. He unleashed on one. And that was fun to see.
A lot of good Nolan jokes. Colorado there. Saw those on the interweb.
And then the last game, the Giants come back. They were losing in the 9th. Brandon Crawford RBI double, Jock Peterson RBI single. Like it was just a really nice series for the Giants. And now, what are they? Are they 2 games over 500, 3 games over 500, pushing on it? Giants fans keep telling us, don't sleep on this team. I guess I'm not sleeping on them anymore. Like they're in my middle tier. Team that I think is going to be in contention for a wild card spot. I don't think they'll catch Diamondbacks or the Dodgers in the West, but they will be there vying for a playoff spot for sure.
As of right now, they are a half game out of the playoff behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. So hey, the longer you stay in it, the longer you're going to give yourself a chance. One of the teams ahead of them is Miami, who had a fantastic week, but is also an A's Royals week. So I don't think that's going to be the standard over there. The final series, Snakes, Nats, they've only played 2 games. The other one got rescheduled due to fires in Trev's Canada. Some quick snaps, Trev. I know we're talking about them later as well.
Yeah, we'll just talk about them later.
Okay, we'll catch them on the flippity flip. Let's talk some American League Baseball, and what's more American than Blue Moon? I don't know,
baby.
I don't know. I'm starting to get a little thirsty myself. It's Friday.
Bald eagle.
What's that?
A bald eagle.
Bald eagle. Yeah, you're right.
You asked a question. I answered.
Right.
I love Blue Moon.
I watched a bald eagle. I got caught into bald eagle Instagram the other day. Whoa. Blue Moon. It's Friday. I'm getting
Bald Eagle story after the Blue Moon read. Sorry.
I'm getting thirsty. It's Friday. Trev, you know where I'm going tonight?
I don't.
You're going to be so happy. Rez concert.
Oh, my God.
Weird Fest. Me and Jess.
Drink some water before you go.
Touching each other, touching others. And I'll probably be sipping a Blue Moon, drinking it all in. One-of-a-kind baseball tradition, whether you're at the park or watching from home. You know that Valencia orange peel. It's just different. It's a flex at the table. Oh, your beer does not have a Valencia orange? Oh,
you're drinking one with a navel orange? Gross.
No,
only
enjoy your peasant beer.
Valencia.
Get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Find Blue Moon delivery options. Get it delivered right to the front door, babe. Get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Celebrate responsibly. That's key. Blue Moon Brewing, Colorado. Golden, Colorado. Link in the description. Little Bald Eagle story and then some AL baseball.
I don't know if I should be sharing this, but I went on to this resort in Montana, right? Great place. I'll shout it out. Paws Up in Montana. Very nice. Yeah. And there's like these bald eagle nests right by this camp that we were at, and you'd see this thing, and it would swoop down this river, and it looked like it was fake, bro. Like they like planted this for you, but it wasn't. This bald eagle's nest. You'd go down, try to catch a salmon, I guess. Is that what runs in the rivers up there? Steelhead trout.
Sure.
Anyway, so we're all looking up at the nest. We go under the tree, and there's a bald eagle feather on the ground. And we took it, and I don't know if you're allowed to take bald eagle feathers.
I mean, if it's already off the bird, what are we doing?
I don't know if you are.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
We gave it back.
Yeah.
One of those things there might be rules about. I have no
Teddy
idea.
doesn't have it in a plastic bag in his closet.
Yeah, man, there's a bald eagle video on Instagram where it goes in and it like gets a fish, but you picture it swooping in, snagging it, and swooping out. Dude, it's like in the drink and it's swimming with its like wing arms and it's just in the water. And I'm like, what? And then it just gets to the sideline with its fish and is like, who wants next?
Kind of a tough name if you really think about it. Like a bald eagle. Like it should be like a
badass eagle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bitchin' eagle. American eagle.
Probably invoke some military imagery. That would get it going. Use it there anyway.
This is a military pod. Let's talk some American League Baseball. Because, Trev, an emotional week in the great north where you are right now. Toronto, don't hit that second tee because they get lit up in the first game, and it's the pride and soul of the team, Alek Manoah, who gets sent down to the Coast League. Like, what is going on, Pop? He gets 0.1 innings, 6 Ernie, Tucker, Myers, Diaz. Like, Houston goes nuts on them. They make the move, and the team responds with 3 wins. Gossman is putting up some gaudy numbers, strikeout-wise and just general performance-wise. Chris Bassett gives them 8, my signing of the offseason. And then on the final day, Berrios helps them get it done as they win 3 straight, belt with the game tie-breaking RBI single. Romano cleans up the mess, and man, how about it from Toronto as they go, and the AL East just got a little different this week. Judge. The Rays sweep the Twinkies. Trevor Plouffe was there for it. Led Zeppelin, 6.20 earned runs. He's been so good, especially in Tampa. Jose Siri did not care as he hit a home run. He just kind of hung out at home plate for a while. You guys are on my time now. Randy Arozarena, Game 2, how's your walk-off? The double play in the 9th inning to set that up, that is the epitome of Rays baseball. And then, yeah, here come the broomsticks. Sorry, Bailey. Yanni Chirinos, 5.2. Those Rays are different. Trevor will tell you about it. My Yanks They lose the first game. Giolito no hits him for 6 innings. He looked good. Yanks rally a little bit, but not really. Sebi Zavala, 2-homer game. Sure, kid. And then we do a double-header game because the world's on fire. How about yours? Luis Robert, he has a big day at the office. Homers and steals. Eloy with the big home run to flip the script on the scoreboard. Yankees, they win the second game of the doubleheader. Dirty Randy Vasquez, Ron Marinaccio out of the pen. Yankees lose the series to the White Sox. White Sox, you can butter knife their numbers a little bit. A little, hey, how are you? Red Sox lose 2 out of 3 to Chris Rose's Guardians. Sox-Yanks this weekend, gonna be messy. James Paxton, speaking of the Great North, 7 innings, 2 earnies. Yoshida continues to do his thing. But then the Guardians hit for 2 games. Wow, they put up a 10 spot in that final game. Jose Ramirez, you'll hear about him later. Rosario, Naylor, Josh Bell's back off the paternity list. If the Guardians start hitting, that becomes a very different story. And that's what happened in the American League. God, I feel...
You're so good, Poppy.
I feel so dialed right now, Trevor Goof. In the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays, the lead is back up to 6.5 over the Orioles. They still have not lost their 20th game. They're 46-19. The Baltimore Orioles are 38-24. Yankees are 2 games back of them at 37-27. Toronto is a game back of the Yanks, that 4th place in the AL East. The Red Sox drop a game below 500, which is the same record as the AL Central leading Minnesota Twins, who are only, oh my God, they're a game and a half up on Cleveland. Cleveland has been so bad. They're a game and a half back of the Central. The White Sox are 3.5 games back. Same as Detroit. Kansas City, are you in the mix? I don't know. The Texas Rangers are 40-21. Houston, 5 games back. 36-27. Halos are 34-30, 4-game win streak. We'll get to them in the IL. Mariners, game below 500. Oakland, minus 200 run differential, and they won their series. Trev, we are Cron Pod. You know this. I know this. Toronto, roller coaster of a week. The big fella, Manoah. They do what they kind of had to do. And we'll see what the next updates are on that. But they respond after that, and it's, behind Gossman, Bassett, Barrios, with the offense doing enough along the way.
That's the tail of the tape right there. I mean, Manoah, we discussed what was going to happen with him. You can't really be throwing a guy out there that's not giving you a chance to win. I mean, he's losing games for them, and you know how difficult the AL East is, and there's only so many spots in the playoffs. These games matter, so they had to do something with Manoah. They ended up sending him down to, their Florida complex, and it's like people are saying, "Oh, well, it's like you sent him all the way down, not to AAA." No, dude, just relax. This is what the Blue Jays do. A lot of teams will do this. It's more. There's better facilities there. Okay, that's where your spring training facility is. Like, there's more eyes there. There's more equipment there than there is, I guess, where are they at? In Buffalo?
Well, and Trev, to add on to that, like, whatever Manoah's problem is right now doesn't get solved throwing AAA innings. Like,
exactly.
The slider ain't moving. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on that if he goes to AAA, I think he'd get hit around right now too, and now you're just compounding a problem.
That's what I mentioned on Baseball Today. See, Rose asked me, and I said I would Phantom IL him and get some bullpens in. He doesn't need hitters right now. He needs to figure some stuff out. So that's what they're doing. I believe they even did this to Roy Halladay back in the day.
Yep.
Sent him all the way down. So, like, you casuals out there, they're like, oh, they sent him all the way down there. Just relax. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
If you're Manoah, Trev,
I wish the best for him.
Baseball stuff that I genuinely don't know. Would you be kind of bummed you didn't get Phantom IL'd? Because wouldn't that mean you're still getting big league checks instead of minor league checks? That's just, I don't know.
That's a decent point, yeah.
Probably losing service time, right?
But, yeah, and service time.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe they decided they wanted him to pitch in some games and that he needs to still continue to do that. I don't know. And there are some, there's some rules against that. And, if a player, I don't know why he would say he didn't want to go on the IL, but, he could raise a stink about it, say, I'm not hurt. I want to be in the big leagues. I want to be pitching. So there's one way to avoid that. There's a lot of weird stuff with that. Like, you also don't have to go on a rehab assignment. That's up to the player. You can straight out refuse a rehab assignment. A lot of people don't know that. So, anyways, Manoah's going to go. He's going to work it out. But the Blue Jays did answer back. And I said this also, I don't know where, because I talk so much baseball. I said, the Blue Jays, they might be kind of floundering because they don't have a stopper. And a lot of people that are Blue Jays fans are like, oh, we got a stopper. Gausman's a stopper.
Yeah.
Bassett can be a stopper. And it's true. I mean, those two were lights out this series. Going up against one of the better pitching staffs in the big leagues too, and they outshined him. Even Jose Barrios did his thing. And that was kind of the series. Like, those guys had great starts. You mentioned the offense did just enough. But Gausman, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Bassett, 8 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Barrios, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. I mean, that's how you get it done. That's how you answer after Manoah goes a third with 6 earnings.
Right.
It puts you in a hole in the series in a 4-game set. You take 3 of 4 from the Astros.
Yeah.
You got to be feeling good if you're a Blue Jays fan. I mean, that's a statement series, if you will.
Yeah, I'm circling this, Trev, because something with these baby Jays and going back to popcorn and all of it, and you don't want to hear it anymore, especially for me. But for Manoah, like, that's a lot of humble pie. That's a lot of humble pie. That's a real dose of it, and that's kind of what these Jays needed a little bit, because it's the most humbling sport, right? Like, Mike Trout is going to have bad stretches this year. Everyone will. It's a very humbling sport. The Jays took a big hit of humble pie, and it was kind of their big one, like kind of the head of the snake. Like, Manoah's kind of their mouthpiece. For them to respond this way and win the rest of these games, and they're close games, but they won them. And Kevin Gausman, dude, what he's doing, the 6 10-plus strikeout outings this year. I'm circling this for the Jays, especially because the Yankees just put a lot of blood in the water with Judge being out. That the Jays and Sox were kind of getting lumped together at the bottom of the American League East. Now the Jays are a game apart from the Yankees. One more slip up and they will catch them. And the Yankees without Judge ain't the same team that I very much circled this week for the Blue Jays, because they didn't need Manoah to get rocked and sent down, but I think they needed a little bit of humble pie. I think they got that. They responded, and watch out for the Jays.
Watch out for the Jays. I mean, Bichette had a good series. Bell had a good series. Kirk had a nice pinch hit. He's been doing that. That's your guy. We'd be remiss to not mention the Manoah trying to blow the ball foul. I don't know if you saw that. A bunt by Pena.
Anything.
That's just a little bit of desperation.
That's where we're at.
But here's the thing. If he was pitching well, like, that's that dog in him. Heck yeah, we like that. But then now it's desperate because he hasn't been pitching well. But I thought that was funny. You got to mention that.
Trev, I just gave a ton of love to the Jays. Astros, you don't care. You guys are going to be fine. Trev, remember? I was going through Manoah's game log, and they were tough, and he looked bad against the Yankees, and I delivered that. His best start was a 5.2 2-earned run start. Do you remember how he got pulled from that game?
I don't.
It was the second mound visit by Schneider that he forgot about while they had a lefty up in the pen for a lefty hitter, and it was Manoah's only good start. That I said there could be a theory where they're saving face because he's struggling right now.
Does your theory get proved more somehow?
I don't think it got proved less.
Okay, well, yeah.
I don't think it got proved less. That's all I'll say.
Shout out Ben DiNucci.
Hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Shout out. Sign with the Broncos.
He's on my horsies.
He's on your horses.
I'm excited for that. Coming for Russ's gig. Speaking of coming for gigs, Trev, you've already taken over Bally Sports North. as you were on the Twins broadcast this weekend. You watched the best team in baseball up close and personal. You tweeted about how it changed you. You sounded like a Utah girl that went to Coachella for the first time. Tell me about these Rays.
I've never experienced anything like it.
I can't believe how good it was in person.
These pictures don't do it justice.
Yandy's biceps are unreal.
And that's it. That's my take on the Twins race. Yeah, look. The Twins got beat. I mean, they got beat in every single way you could get beat. Was I impressed with the Rays offense? Yes. Was I impressed with the Rays defense? Yes. Was I impressed with their pitching? Yes. The thing I was most impressed with was their freaking base running. They are looking to take the extra base in every situation. Wander Franco hit a ball to short center field, right center. There was never a doubt in his mind that he was getting to second base, and he did. Right there. Twins had a couple balls just like that. And they didn't. They didn't run out of the box that way. And in my tweet that I talked about, I sent yesterday, every team in spring training, there's the same fucking speech. Guys, it's the first base coach and who also is like the running coach, whatever. Not to say that about first base coaches. I have a lot of respect for them. I'm just saying that's who's saying this. Guys, we are going to be aggressive on the base pass. We are going to take the extra base. We're going to put pressure. I want all of you guys in spring training. I don't care if you get thrown out. Let's just test the limits and see what we can do. And then 3 or 4, games in, everyone forgets about the speech. Someone gets hurt, and you're like, I'm not going to run that hard anymore. It's spring training. And then it's over. Similar to all the bunt plays you run in spring training. You only end up doing one. The Rays have taken that speech and have ran with it. This is who they are as a team. And we've seen it for years. When, there is an area where you can take an advantage, the Rays will find it first. When the bases got bigger and there was a 3 disengagement rule and there was a pitch clock that you kind of knew when the pitcher had to throw the ball, I guarantee everyone in that Rays front office is like, we're running. We're running.
Yeah.
And they are.
You're going to give us one more advantage? Done.
And they're doing it, and it's like every time they get on base, I'm sitting up there in the booth, and you're just watching these guys take leads, and you're like, holy shit, he's going. Oh, he's going. And you could just see it, and everyone in the park knows it. Yeah. And they don't care. They don't care. The first game, Led Zeppelin looked great. They got to Varland. Great. Luke Raley hit a freaking missile to center field on a Varland changeup. I thought maybe they had something on Varland, but also they could just sat on some mislocation off-speed pitches. The second game, freaking Royce Lewis ties the game. Big knock there. There was, how in depth do you want me to get on this?
Well, Trev, I'll dive in. I'll dive in a little bit because I mentioned it on my way through. 2 nights without Yankees games this week, which has now put me in a really interesting spot. I'm not the biggest sports gambler, but, I like putting a little cheese on a game. So I've got 2 nights without Yankees baseball. And where this, I don't want to say spirals, but if I watch baseball, that's currently good for my career. So no Yankees games. I'm betting on a couple of games around the league. I hit a bet. Tampa Bay to win live in the 9th inning because the Twins had a ton of action on the bases. So the odds were...
Were they tied yet, or was it 1-0?
They just tied it up, and they still had a couple base runners on. So I was like, you know what? If the Rays pull a little Rays magic and they get out of this, they'll win this game. So there's good juice on it. I bet it. I flipped over, and the double play they turned, Trev. Because sometimes, the Rays, not only can all of them run, but all of them seemingly can play every position. Isaac Paredes, who's a guy when you look at him, he doesn't scream defense. He screams 450 the opposite field. He turned a double play ball that you're just like On any other team, if you had a guy at third base who you didn't think was like your strong defensive player, you'd say there's no chance he turns that. You hope he makes an out. And they turn the double play, and that game was over. And that's what the Rays do, because it's high T. They empower everyone, and they don't give a fuck about you.
They don't. It's apparent by the way they wear their uniform. I was just laughing the entire time. Wander Franco had 2 different color shoes on playing shortstop during the series. I know some kids do that nowadays, but like on a baseball field, it's pretty funny to see. It's a highlighter.
That's who is
package out there.
Who is your manager in Minnesota again? Would Gardenhire have let that fly for you?
I remember when I wore pink cleats for the first time, Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You're gonna wear those out there?" I said, yeah, I think so.
It's for the cause, Pop.
For the cause. Anyways, real quick, because I don't want to go too far in depth here. Michael A. Taylor comes in to pinch hit. It's first and second. Kepler's on first. They're not even holding them on. Taylor steals third, and Kepler just doesn't go. So it makes it first and third. Royce Lewis gets the hit. Michael A. Taylor scores. Max Kepler stays on second base. And then, yes, what I do is I call the game from the 2nd through the 7th inning. Then I go down to the dugout in case we need a post-game interview on the field. So I'm down there. I mean, I am parallel to third base. So I'm seeing this all happen. And Jeffers hits the ball down the line, smokes it. Or maybe it was first and third at that time. I think it was first and third at the time. I don't know how he got over to third base, but he got over to
Might have been bases loaded. I think there's a hit by pitch in there too, but either way.
You're right. Because someone was on third base. The run was going to score and put them ahead if they did not turn the double play.
Right.
And Paredes gets on his butt, throws it to second. And the most impressive part was Taylor Wall's turn. It wasn't a great throw. It's kind of like on his throwing hand side, had to reach down, come back, throw a strike. Obviously Jeffers is the right one to be running there to turn that, but
Trev,
he's giving it all he's got down the box. They turn the double play.
Think about what you said there. Jeffers isn't the right person to be running, and that's fine. Like, that's obviously not his game. But guess what? When 7 guys on the Rays are 90th percentile speed, that's again where if the situation is flipped, your team doesn't turn that, and your team doesn't win the game, but the Rays do.
Yep. So they end up, tie game 1-1. Duran comes in. I swear, you couldn't even you're still riding the high of tying the game. Royce Lewis, awesome, man. Let's go win this thing. You got Duran coming in, and he throws 2 splitters, whatever he calls them, on the outer half. And Rosarena probably the most impressive swing of the baseball season. I know there's been some great ones, but go check out where that pitch was, and go check out the numbers on that pitch. To hit a home run, Oppo is crazy impressive, and he knew it was gone. And I mean, again, I was just right there, on the field for that. And you saw him come around third. I saw him do his thing, and the lights were all flashing. It was an electric moment, man. The Rays are so impressive. And then yesterday, they were getting a perfect game thrown against them. Bailey Ober struck out 6 people in a row. And then they do it.
Yeah.
Lightning fast. That's what it seems like every time you play the Rays. They just score. It's like boom, boom, boom. You're like, oh, crap, what just happened?
There's a threat to score every inning. They are so good. And that's
31 bases stolen without being caught consecutive right now.
It's unreal. Tune in this weekend, folks. Rangers-Rays.
Yes.
Rangers-Rays. I will be flipping over to that. Oh, and then the Rays get 4 at Oakland. So they'll be okay this week. Trev, I want to hodgepodge these next 2 series, because you can also mix in any other Twins thoughts you have, because I have 2 AL East teams, the Red Sox and the Yankees. The Red Sox drop below 500. The Yankees are a shell of themselves without Judge, and it kind of makes sense if you replace a guy who's been a 1.1 OPS the past year and a half with anybody, you're going to have a massive drop-off in your lineup. But the The Yankees' depth of their lineup has been a problem for me for a while. The White Sox take 2 out of 3. The Guardians take 2 out of 3. There is not a team above 500 in the Central. Yanks and Sox play this weekend, so that was kind of a poo-poo platter of info that I want to see where you go with, Trev.
What?
I remember thinking poo-poo platters used to be the coolest thing in the world. You get a mix of food.
I don't know what you want me to say. Am I supposed to talk about the White Sox Yankees?
Do you want to go
the Guardians Red Sox?
Do you want to go East or Central? Like, do you want to come off? Do you want to come off the Rays and talk Central or East?
I want you to give Cliff Notes of the White Sox Yankees series while I go put on my sweatshirt because I'm cold.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cliff Notes. Yankees lose the game 1. They don't hit at all. Giolito's nasty. They get Zavala'd. White Sox backup catcher has 10 career homers. 5 of them have come in 2 games. He's got a 3-homer and a 2-homer game. The Yankees end the no-hit bid on a ball that drops between Benny and Robert, so it wasn't really a hit. Their offense was just out of it, and they kind of make a game out of it, but there was no real hope. And then the doubleheader, they had it lined up for a win. Sevy right now, Velo's down. Yankee fans are nervous about that after Nestor just went to the IL. But they had the lead, and King, who'd been so good, Eloy jumps him, and that flips it from 5-4.
Shout out Eloy.
He's a monster.
God, I love that guy. And he crushes the Yanks. And then the Yankees have a kid, Randy Vasquez, who shoves in the final game. But yeah, I mean, the Yankees just feel different, Trev. I mean, Willie Calhoun leadoff. Billy McKinney getting his first start in center field. Like, Jake Bowers is now a staple of the Yankees lineup. IKF is Waldo. Volpe hasn't done much. That the Yanks lineup is thin, and it's why I'm trying to combine all this. You can butter knife the White Sox that since I think May 1st, they're like 20-15, which again, when we're talking AL Central, that matters a little bit right now. But yeah, I am very nervous for this weekend's Yankees-Sox matchup because the Sox are back against the wall, scratching for their life, and the Yankees get really good pitching performances, and a couple guys put it together on offense, and you can win ball games, but there's also days where they just don't. And if Boston puts together a weekend, you're now going to be talking about, the last place Yankees and Sox.
Well, I like hearing that.
I know you do.
No offense, because you just talk crap about my Twins all the time. And here we are, both of our organizations in shambles. Unreal. Speaking of shambles, go check out my merch. Coach Trev got his own shirt.
Did you give a final approval on that?
I didn't, but I didn't even know that was happening. All of a sudden, I got tagged in it. I'm happy. Maybe I'll see those around the ballpark. If you do buy one and I see you, I think I have to give you a hug.
And by the way,
that's the sound of all the ladies running to their computers buying a T-Plouf shirt.
Code JM20, JM20, 20% off your first order at shop.johnboymedia.com. So JM20, go get yourself some Plouffe gear. Trev, Guardians, Red Sox. Guardians offense comes to life, which again, I won't buy in completely, but this is what we talked about. I think we talked about this on Monday. Like, the Guardians still have some guys that can go, especially that J-Ram guy that you'll hear about in a little bit. Boston's pitching can help when you spot start Dermody and then you DFA him after the game, but Guardians win a series. They're a game and a half back of the Twins, and their offense showed life. So, I don't know.
I mean, that's been the problem all season. So, yeah, if the offense starts to do what, I don't think we ever expected them to have some awesome offense, but much better than they started off. You're right. We'll hear about J-Ram later, but the guys like Naylor and Rosario having a good game in that second game, that's big for them, and they need that. The pitching's going to be there for them. We know that. And if they do, I mean, look, this is how you win series. Yeah. Your pitchers go and your offense does enough. And in that Central Division, clearly they are right in the thick of it. And that's going to be an interesting we're gonna be talking about the Twins, the White Sox, and the Guardians in the AL Central. And I was hoping the Twins would run away with it, but they have not hit. That's kind of been the theme of those top two teams, the Guardians and the Twins. Like they've been pitching just fine. I mean, the Guardians bullpen's been excellent. Yeah. Twins starting pitching has been excellent. Both the offenses have been pretty poor. So it worries me a little bit, to be honest with you. I need to see my Twins in the playoffs, and right now they're going to have to improve dramatically or drastically offensively to get there. And it looks like the Guardians are turning the corner a little bit. It does help if the guy that you're going to about to talk about has a game that you're going to about to talk about. If that makes any sense. I think I just really messed that up.
Yanks Sox this weekend is going to be very interesting. And yeah,
shout out Paxton.
I'd love shout out Paxton, Elrod, and James. Sox Yanks should be electric this weekend. And yeah, if you're the Guardians, and I can't, I don't actually know Tito Francona, but I feel like he's walking around telling the fellas game and a half out, like we're going to be on top of the AL Central soon, and everything's gone wrong for us, and he's going to have the kids feeling good. So, I don't know. When do those teams... Oh, they got a little West Coast road trip coming up. I don't know. The Central's a mess. Trev, in my heart of hearts, I would genuinely love if the Twins had gone and ran away with it, and we're like, all right, Twins, good for you. Like, we've been through the whole cycle with them. They could have rebuilt and tore it down, and they didn't.
Well, they are dealing with a lot of injuries right now too.
Sure.
Like they're getting crushed. Joey Gallo's out. Polanco had to come out of the game. Correa's been dealing with something. He's performing poorly all season long offensively. Did I mention Buxton? I don't know. It's just a lot.
It is. Let's talk some interleague baseball. Trev, the Philadelphia Phillies, their yo-yo season kind of continues with a sweep of the Tigers trade partners in the offseason. His name is Nola, N-O-L-A, Nola. 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 3 runs. But Trey Turner, has he? 4 for 5 with 2 homers. They're waiting for him. Big Taijuan Walker, 7 innings, 0 earned run. And Zach Wheeler, all 3 starters go 7+ innings, 0 earned runs. Cody Clemens with a walk-off in that final game. Phillies, they kind of needed this. And Detroit also might have been the right medicine for them at the time. Marlins sweep the Royals. Yeah, Marlins had their easy week on the schedule, and they took advantage. Baby Jesus with a big start in there. Feel like we haven't talked about him a lot this year. Brian De La Cruz, we kind of need to talk about him. He's one of the other guys contributing to the offense. And oh yeah, Luis Arias is back up over 400 in June. That's pretty goddamn cool. Nick Prado, the Royals fans like his swing. There's your Talkin' Royals episode. Vinny Pasquantino DM me. Not happy that in our Talkin' Baseball bet of the week, I had Marlins -1.5 over the Royals. It hit Vin. The Oakland Athletics take 2 out of 3 from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hell yeah. How about it? The offense comes to life against Mitch Keller? He had been one of the best pitchers in baseball. But Langeliers, Chase Peterson 5-hit day. Noda, sure. He puts together a couple back-to-back homer games. I watched a chunk of this gambling, and the A's definitely felt a tier better than what they've been. And Pirates, man, you kind of had this week served on a platter for you, and you couldn't get it done. You know a team that's been only getting it done? It's the Texas Rangers. They take 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals. Marcus Semien, you might hear about him coming up. Martin Perez, Trev, you've been mentioning he hasn't fully gone. 7 innings, 0 earned runs. Okay. Adolis Garcia, 4 for 4 day. Zeke Duran, 3 for 3. So, okay, there's 2 guys that didn't get out. That's a good combination. The only way the Cardinals won, Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
Why aren't you guys tougher on him? Is it because he's nice to you guys? 6 innings, 0 earned runs, 8 Ks. Alec Burleson with the homer, and that's the only run scored in that game. My goodness. Orioles, Brewers, World Series preview? Brewers. They get the first 2 in this one. Corbin Burnes, you might hear more about him later. Elly with a big day at the office. Joey Weimer. Are the freshmen becoming sophomore in front of us? 2-homer game. Orioles salvage the series behind Gunnar Henderson and Ramon Urias on the final day. Hyde gets ejected. Game 2, sure. And this one felt kind of important. Angels sweep the Cubs. 2 teams that really needed some dubs we talked about last episode. And the Halos get it done. And look who's in the bigs hitting big home runs. Joe Adele. Fire me up for that. Give me Joe Adele resurgence season. Moniak, Trout, Ohtani. Yes, yes, and yes. Halos get a big sweep, and Cubbies are in a dangerous spot. Padres-Mariners, they split 2. Might have my award tied to something in this series. Juan Soto with a 5-for-5 day. Logill, Teoscar, and Julio. That's a good formula for Seattle in the game. They win, and that's what happened in your interleague baseball. Ooh. Right at the
Attaboy.
And a little ooh. Trev, I think a couple of these are flyovers. A few of them, of them are high and tight. Phillies sweep the Tigers. They're starting pitching. We talked about them trying to get on win streaks, and it was, are they going to get enough from their starters? They more than did. Again, the Tigers might have been part of the recipe here. But seeing Trey Turner have a big day feels awfully important because he was having the worst stretch of his career. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes. Schwarbo homers. Your Phils, Trev, who are right back. You know, they technically jumped the Mets this week.
I think that's really all we have to talk about is the starting pitching of the Phillies in this series. Are you kidding me? Taijuan Walker looked absolutely filthy. I don't know what he was doing. Was that a splitter or something like that?
A split change, something like that?
It was filthy, but you got Nola doing what he did. I mean, you mentioned it. The starters did their things. That's how you're going to sweep a series. And the Phillies are right there. I think they've won 5 in a row now. What are they back? Are they 2 games under 500, right?
2 games under 500. They are half game up on the Mets, 8 games back of the Atlanta Braves.
They're going to be looking for a wild card spot.
Yeah.
It is very nice to see Trey Turner, get going a little bit there. We just put the video of him eating cereal on our channel. That's interesting. What a good sport he was, because I don't know if I would have done that. But yeah, Schwarber continues to hit in June. Pitchers do their thing. You sweep the Tigers, who have had the wind taken out of their sails since Erod and Riley Green are out.
Stuff that I think is kind of important, the Phillies reset a lot of their bullpen. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 guys who haven't pitched in the last 3 days. Stuff like that can be important if you're trying to get going, and especially if you're welcoming the Dodgers into town and you're trying to stay hot. Get it going, Trey. I think they shuffled up their lineups. Phillies fans double checked me on that. And sometimes a little shake matters, whether baseball or men's bathroom or whatever. Marlins sweep the Royals.
Oh, we didn't mention the nut tap. What do you got on that?
Oh, yeah.
Miguel Cabrera
Miggy
nut tap.
Cabs.
What's up?
I mean, that's boys.
In or out?
In. So far in.
Of course I knew you were going to say
that should be more prevalent around the league.
You know, that's a funny story. Like Bryson Stott is like, well, a Hall of Famer touched my nuts on the baseball field and everyone saw it. I guess that's he could tell that story.
Yeah, just, arguably one of the best right-handed hitters of all time. Just grabbed my biscuits.
Do they have like a relationship?
They do
or
now.
Was that a rando nut tap?
Well, you got to be careful. but it's a great way to form a bond with a fellow man. I mean, once you've done that, you need permission, which I don't know if Miggy had.
I think if you hit like 500 homers
on a baseball field, you've kind of got permission.
It's a good point.
Don't go around doing that.
Don't go around grabbing guys.
We don't
stuff.
condone that. We don't. Unless you're Miggy Cabs on a baseball.
Miggy Cabs on the field, I think has clearance.
Maybe Rez tonight. Marlins sweep the Royals. Snaps for them. Their record's in a really good place. Again, there's a little bit of, I don't want to say fool's gold, but they swept Kansas City and Oakland, who have been the two worst teams this year. That being said, don't care. Handle your business. If they took 5 of 6, we'd be saying they handled their business. Luis Ariz is back playing out of his mind. I mentioned De La Cruz. Hey, why not you, Fish? Like kind of what I said with the Giants. The longer you stay around, the more the chance you get baseball magic, and you can fall in love with that rotation always and get Jazz back. Like, some good stuff.
I like that. There's a lot to be happy about if you're a Marlins fan. Everyone gets to play the A's and the Royals. So, well, yeah, you have to take care of business against these teams. I mean, that's going to be a theme of ours all season long is take care of business against these two teams.
Because guess who didn't take care of their business? The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes.
Who were just kind of winning me back. They win a 1-run game on that first day. They rally. And by the way, it was a very Oakland rally. They walked in runs to give up the lead. That was an ugly game to watch. Pittsburgh had 10 walks, and it was less Pittsburgh, more Oakland throwing those walks. And then these A's, man, some of their some of their young guys at the plate are giving them a lot better efforts than the A's team I saw a few weeks ago. Their pitching staff is still come see, come saw, but good for some of their young guys. Noda and Langeliers especially. Seth Brown too. Giving real efforts. And hey, we could have just given that whole speech we just said about the Royals, right? Oh, Pittsburgh, they handle their business. They didn't. And I think it's going to come back to bite them because they were lined up to have a really good month, and now they're not so much.
Do we give a ton of love to this Cardinals-Rangers series? I think you kind of have to.
Sure.
I had an interesting talking point here. In the first game, Rangers take 2 out of 3. Snaps the A's for winning a series. They were on pace to finish 31 and 131. That's insane. I think they broke that pace, so a little bit better.
Now they're hot.
The young guys are getting the bats going. Jay, got a boy. We just need some pitching at the deadline.
That's it.
All right. Cardinals, Rangers. Rangers take 2 out of 3. In that first game, the Rangers end up winning it 4-3. But as you can see here, top of the 8th, St. Louis trails 3-1. Nolan Arenado hits a double. And this is a double down the line, and the Rangers left fielder is Duran. Yes, Ezekiel Duran was playing left field. Tommy Edman gets a great read on this ball. Duran kind of like gets to the wall, like it's kind of hanging up in the air long enough where the runner in front of Edman kind of like waited to see. He was halfway. Ball does not end up getting caught. So now Edman's 10 feet behind. I don't know who was running in front of him. 10 feet in front or in back of that runner, and they both get sent home. And the lead runner scores, ties the game. But Tommy Edman, I guess, gets held up by his coach last second and ends up getting a pickle and getting thrown out. They would have took the lead on that. But I believe, Edman read the ball right, did everything right. It's just they weren't on the same page as runners, and all of a sudden you have this base running gaff that you don't take the lead. Texas ends up walking it off. And it's that changes the game. Rangers take the series. Like, these are the little things that happen in baseball games. And, you point to a series here, a series there. one bad read cost you the series.
Best 59-game start in Senators Texas franchise history. Whoa. There's been some good Texas Rangers teams throughout the years. And yeah, man, they a lot of the stuff we say about the Rays we could echo to the Rangers. They're playing a great brand of winning baseball that is multiplied by fantastic starting pitching and a lineup that just does not quit on you. Good job for our guy Flaherty. And he
comes back and shuts him out. He actually struggled first inning. I think he walked 3 straight dudes and then got out of the inning and then ended up going his final line 6 innings pitched 3 hits. The walks have been an issue for him. There's no doubt, but he's been able to navigate that. And he said, he's had some decent starts now. Last 3 or 4 outings, he's had a couple good starts.
Trev,
John Gray went 9?
Yeah, dude. He's
holy shnikey. How did I miss that?
In the loss. 12 Ks. No, man, there's like something in the water there. And by the way,
shoot.
I've talked about Judge being out. DeGrom this week. We haven't talked about it. He obviously goes out for the year and maybe next year with TJ. And, there's a lot of conversation about it, and it's, scary. This second one, and he was, the best starting pitcher we'd seen in a 2-year period and all that. And, we made fun of DeGrom's press conference. He said he wanted to go to Texas to win. And by the way, kind of looks good now. I think he wanted a good paycheck, but go watch his presser if you haven't. Yeah, Trev, I don't know if you
couldn't watch it.
I don't know if you should, because ball players like us, man, that's some real emotion that you might be home fucking around with your buddies and you're like, hey, DeGrom got banged up again. Shocker. Guess who was shocked? Fucking Jacob DeGrom, because he is one of the best people to ever throw a baseball in this game. And he just kind of got told, all right, you have to go through one of the worst pitching injuries again, and you might not be on a mound for like another 2 years. So, nobody likes serious Jake, but that presser was tough, man.
It's tough to watch. I talked about it a lot on baseball today. That's, me. I mentally feel pretty strong and I'm confident, and you and I can both will confidence out of nowhere.
Yeah. I should not be confident about anything, and I am.
We just whatever. The times that I have struggled mentally in my life is when I'm hurt and put on the IL, and I was bad. Like I was like not a good person when I was on the IL. It's daunting. It's tough. I talked about it, like I said, a lot on baseball today. So I don't want to go too far into it, but I feel for Jacob DeGrom. He knows what's ahead of him. He's already done this.
Yeah.
Are you talking that rehab stint? We're talking at least 16 to 18 months before you can do what you were put on this earth to do. It's lonely. It's physically daunting. It's mentally and emotionally draining, man. So, yes, feel for him. Send good vibes his way.
Trev, there's 2 more here, and we got some other stuff. Brewers put together a nice little weekend, and especially, I don't have...
Can you say Joey Weimer's name like Joey Wendell?
Joey Weimer.
I think you have to. I think you have to
That's
do
fair.
it like that.
That's fair. Especially, have you seen his batting stance? It's a Joey Weimer batting stance.
Yeah, but he also will snap you in half.
Oh, I hope he does. As long as he doesn't Jess again. I think you're going to talk about one of the Brewers' pitchers, if you could probably already allude to that. I'm not giving a big circle or a big asterisk because I don't believe in any Central divisions. Willie Adames is back, and he homers, and that's important and good. Joey Weimer has a big game, and I hope he taps into something because those Brewers kids haven't excelled during their freshman year, but maybe it's coming.
Weimer had a couple big games. He's the reason they won the first 2 games. He made some great catches in the outfield, had the game-winning hit in the first game, went 4 for 4 in the second game with the homer, or 2 homers, excuse me. Like, yeah, he looks like the guy that they were, talking about at the beginning of the year. That's big for the Brewers. And then that last game, we got a little Aaron Hicks sighting.
Yes, sir.
In that series. He hits a homer. Weimer did take a extra base hit away from him as well. I thought that was funny to see.
And Joey Weimer, who might even be on in Fuego later, got a haircut from his old college roommate that might coincide with his 13
obviously.
for 27. So that's big.
And last game, Gunnar Henderson did his thing, man.
Orioles
he's got.
Orioles 21st comeback victory this year. That's why I like them a lot.
Okay.
Although, hey man, no Mullins right now. They're feeling it a little bit. And then the final series, and man, again, both of these teams were in a little bit of an window for me. If you start losing ground, those Ohtani stuff is going to get super real and scary. If you're the Cubs, again, I did this a little bit on Baseball Today, like glass half full, glass half empty. If I told the Cubs that Stroman was pitching like this and Cody Bellinger looked like this and, some of the other things that have gone good for this team this year, I think Cubs fans would think they're, in the wild card or something. Their stench this year has been covered up by how bad St. Louis is, and they are a half game better than the St. Louis Cardinals right now.
Yeah, I think overall they have a really good defensive team, talking about the Cubs here, and then they were kind of undone by a few plays there. I believe it was in the bottom fifth. I'm looking at the notes now. Trout's single, I think it was Talkin was in center field. Got to catch that ball, man. Up in the air for way too long. He lets that ball fall in front of him, 2-run single. Like it's a ball that he probably would say he's got to catch, got to be a little bit more aggressive on it. And then there was another base hit, just off the glove of Dansby, a line drive. That was a much more difficult play. But then Zach Neto turns a double play on a line drive, and that's the difference of the game.
Your boy,
like those defensive plays. You make a play, you don't make a play, and it changes everything. I thought that was an interesting start to the series. The Angels come back and they win that, and then the next couple of games they just take care of business, bro. I mean, Trout does his thing, Mickey Moniak does his thing in game 2. Detmers has a good start in game 3. You mentioned Joe Adell going fucking deep fly. Good to see him back. That's. Teams need that. Guys coming up and going for them. Mickey Moniak had been that for them, and maybe Joe Adell will put a little spark in as well. But, I mean, that's an impressive sweep for the Angels. It is. I don't care who you're playing. I mean, the Cubs are a good ball club, and you took care of it, having to come back in that first game and then answered the next 2.
Trev, Jakey Analytics, the hitting, Cubs have scored in only 3 of their last 42 innings. They've dropped 4 in a row in 10 out of 14. Danger time in Chicago. And I've mentioned Joe Adell a lot because, Trev, again, it's been a long time since I've played. But, I think I would be so incredibly frustrated if I checked every box along the way, being a top prospect and killing it in AAA, but every time I go to the majors, it just doesn't happen. I think that would drive me Looney Tunes. So in his first game getting called up, hitting a homer, I am very much rooting for Joe Adell, and I think you should be too.
Yeah, I mean, he's still very young.
Right.
It's a huge adjustment. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. Sometimes people say, "Oh, the talent difference isn't that much different." It's so freaking different. I don't care what minor league level you're talking about. AAA, sure, great. Some people think AA is the best baseball in minor leagues. Doesn't matter. The show's the show. It's because of the pitching's relentless. It never lets up. The pressure's there. The third deck, the lights, the understanding that if you mess up, you're going to be on SportsCenter, or these 2 idiots right here are going to be talking about you. Like it all factors in. So there is a difference, and you do have to learn how to play there and figure the game out mentally. But Joe Adell's done enough at AAA that it's He's got nothing left to prove there. Now it's just about doing it at the big league level.
Trev, Padres-Mariners, hint, my award is actually coming from here. So I don't have too much. They split a 2-gamer, and that always makes me so bleh. An interleague 2-gamer split is my least favorite thing. So if you want something, otherwise I'm ready to stand out a little bit.
Let's go stand out. JP Crawford, what's up, dog? Mariners fans.
How the turntables. Trev, Standout Performances is brought to you by sub to the YouTube if you haven't already.
Oh.
Subscribe to the YouTube, Talkin' Baseball. Subscribe to all our YouTubes. Comment
Why does no one
below.
subscribe to our YouTube at Talking Baseball? I feel like we should have way more followers subscribing to our YouTube.
We never ask, so this is me asking.
Oh.
It's not even
Would
like
we
an
please do
official.
that?
It's not like an official ad read or something.
We didn't get like told to do it. Just
come on.
every now and then we try to.
Come on, people.
Comment
You listening to this
below.
and not subscribing?
Hit the like button. Tell
We're
a
getting
friend.
towards knocking on 100K.
Oh, but only
I gotta
do
be
it if
honest,
you
I want
want
the
to do
plaque.
it.
We don't want
100K.
people here that don't want to be here.
Maybe a couple.
But
Standout performances. Who stood out this week?
Performances.
Trev?
I'm going with my guy. He's been friendly to us. I like the way he runs off the field when he makes defensive plays on defense. He's a pitcher. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, Corbin Burnes. 8 innings pitched. Shutty. Only 2 hits allowed. 9 strikeouts. Jake, how many walks?
Goose.
That means 0 for people out there. I love that when pitchers do it. 2 hits, 9 Ks, no walks, 8 innings pitched. And, the overall numbers aren't Corbin Burnes-ish. But if you take out his first 2 starts, his first start at Chicago, 5 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. Second start, 4 and a third, 6 earned runs. If you take those 2 starts out, it still leaves a bad start against Houston where you have 5 and 5 innings, 4 homers in that game. If you take those 2 out, he's pitching to a 2.5. Like, he has been the Corbin Burnes that we know and love. It's just that those first 2 starts have gotten in the way. So, obviously the Brewers need him to continue to do his thing. I love watching this guy pitch. He did it against a very good offense in Baltimore. Got the series win. Shout out Corbin Burnes. Keep doing your thing, playa.
Yeah, I mean, a chunk. His stats are close to Corbin Burnes, and you're right. If you butter knife him a little bit, and hey, I've kind of been tough on Milwaukee. I've given, the Pirates, like, they had some love early, and obviously wasn't in. I thought the Cardinals were going to come back. Brewers are the favorite in the Central, and I can't and won't argue that. What they are as an organization, and they do have dudes on that team, and he's kind of their number 1 dude.
And if you remember coming out of spring training, he loses his ARB case. He talks about how he's pissed at the system. I think he switched agents. I'm pretty sure he switched agents. Like, a lot of stuff was going on at the beginning of the season. He wasn't happy with the team. You go and sit there and listen to them tell you how bad you are. They don't tell you how bad you are, but they point out some flaws and why you aren't as good as you think you are.
Right.
Isn't the story they blamed him for the team missing the playoffs? Like, he's one guy.
That was
it's
mentioned.
baseball.
And yeah, I mean, you come and, 2 bad starts, you got a lot of things on your mind. And finally he said, you know what? I'll be myself. How about that? He's been doing great.
Trev, otherworldly standout performance. I will go to a gentleman that had not 1, not 2, a 3-homer day for Jose Ramirez. And part of the reason I chose to pick him, because there's always a lot of good standouts. If the Guardians are going to go, he obviously has to be a part of it. He is the guy that, again, when we talk underrated players in baseball, top 6 in the MVP, 5 of the last 6 seasons. Like, this guy is one of the guys of baseball. If we did like a bona fide before the season, give me dudes that you're guaranteed are going to have a good year, it'd be tough for me to leave Jose Ramirez off the list in a stacked third base. And I know AL third base just looked a little different when we did our all JM team. It's been a lot of Ramirez endeavors, and I thought it was funny. Right after we did the episode, J-Ram puts up a 3-homer game. Wouldn't be surprised if that turns into a massive month. And wouldn't be surprised if at some point this month we're talking about a first-place Guard Dogs team, and he would be a big part of that. So Jose Ramirez, casual 3-homer day at the office. That always blows my mind a little bit because, man, that third time, they really don't want to give up a homer to you. and you still got him.
Excellent performance. You're totally right. If the Guardians are going to make a run at this thing, which it kind of looks like they are, he's going to be right in the thick of it. Other people, Jace Peterson for Oakland, shout out, 5 for 5, 2 homers. Giolito goes 6, no hits. I think that's the second time he's done that this season. Get those walks down, playa. Late night Lamont. People were mad at us for not mentioning him more at the first base position in the NL on our all JM team. He has the 3 for 3 game, the 2 ribbies, 3 walks. Wow. 3 for 3 with 3 walks?
That's not bad.
Pretty good. Corbin Carroll's doing his thing, and Juan Soto is still going.
I mean, a bunch of Blue Jays pitchers, Trey's turn. There's always a lot of options, and you got to pick.
Who was in center field for the Brewers?
Joey Weimer. Snap me like a twig.
Woo! Hit it, Beebs.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
This song just doesn't fit our show at all, but it does fit perfectly.
First I've heard.
Who's the guy that sings that again?
Dirt Nasty.
Dirt Nasty, that's right. Fuck yeah,
He's singing
Nasty.
about himself.
I'd hang out with him. Yeah. Me and Dirt Nasty just talking about ourselves all day long, just like going back and forth.
Tasting each other. Yeah.
All right, I got to get my iPad over here. Hold on. This is what I'm working with, people.
Trev, you're going to love how this kicks off.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Couple Oakland mother freakers on here for the series. Jace Peterson, just talked about him, goes 7 for 12. Nice. 2 homers, 7 ribbies. Orlando Arcia. Remember when people were mad that he was the shortstop for the Braves? He's looking pretty good. 7 for 12. A double, a homer, 4 ribbies. Ryan Noda. Obviously Oakland's first baseman. 6 for 11. 2 doubles, a homer. He leads the AL in OBP this season.
You like that, Trev? You like that? He's real. He's thick.
We love a thick first baseman on this show. Shout out to Ryan Noda and his thickness. For the week, June 2nd through June 8th, Joey Weimer. I'll try to do it. Oh, Joey. I can't.
Oh, Joey Weimer.
11 for 25, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 9 ribbies for a 1.4. He increased his average from 195 on May 31st to 231 entering Friday.
New haircut.
Miguel Vargas, my pick for National League Rookie of the Year preseason, goes 7 for 19, double, a homer, and a triple for a 1.1. And then Edward Cabrera, who is a stud, for the Miami Marlins. 2 games started, 2-0, 11 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. That's nice. The 2 weeks, May 26th through June 8th. Luis Ariz, obviously. Are you kidding me? 24 for 46 for a 5.22 average. Whoops. 4 doubles, 12 RBI. Nice, Luis. Toronto starting pitcher, Kevin Gossman. 3 games started, 19 innings pitched. Only 2 earned runs. That's a .95, my people. He struck out 10-plus batters 6 times this season, which leads Major League Baseball. And I just talked about this guy, Corbin Burnes. His last 3 games, 21 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 24 Ks, 1.71 ERA with a .7 whip. What's up? And that, my friends, is who's in Fuego.
A juicy in Fuego. Like I mentioned, this whole episode is juicy. I'm not doing injuries. We talked about a lot of injuries throughout.
People want it.
I can't have it on a Friday, Trev. It's been a beautiful episode. I get emotional about DeGrom and Judge. Jordan gets banged up too. Kevin Kiermaier, Eloy, make it stop. Make it stop. And I'll make it stop with Roan, the most comfortable gear in the game. I put on one of their hoodies the other day. I did not know. 1, fit oddly good. 2, crazy comfortable. Like kind of that fine line between like sleep and workwear, but you can wear it to work.
Yep.
That you find yourself lounging and you're feeling good in Rhone, especially their commuter collection. My sweet Jessica, little head tilt. That looks good on you. Okay, it's in the mix. That is part of the wardrobe.
See this again.
That is part of the wardrobe. Now,
That's really all guys want.
that's it.
Ladies, if you're listening, just tell us we look good every once in a while. Once in a while, we'll have us for 3 months feeling good about ourselves.
A compliment.
Just like
one.
me. In Rhone, it might give you the better chance. Comfortable dress pants, dress shirts, Q-zips, and polos. Head to Rhone, RHONE.com/baseball. Use promo code baseball. You'll save 20% off your entire order. 20% off your entire order. RHONE.com/baseball. There's a link in the description. And now,
Awards!
feels like the weekend just began, Trevor Plouffe. What's your award?
Shout out Kelsey and Casey. I don't really have a name for this one. I was going to call it Snake Eyes. I was going to call it Diamonds Are Forever. That's a song, I think, by Kanye West, the old Kanye, right? How do we feel about Kanye? I don't like him.
He's still out.
He's still out. Yeah.
Still out.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to mention him anymore.
I've listened to a couple old ones again.
Okay.
It comes on at the gym, and you're like, "Do I change it?" Nobody knows I'm listening to it. I don't know.
There's a lot of artists like that you just like. I don't really think
I
this
miss
song
being
should
able
be
to
playing
like
anymore.
this.
Okay, that has nothing to do with my award.
Right.
People, stop interrupting. The Snakes.
Yes.
Okay. First, we're gonna talk about a little snake in the grass. Okay. My youth team, 2-13 in the regular season. Now, we didn't lose. We didn't get blown out. We didn't get boat raced in a lot of these games. We were close. We just couldn't get the job done. But I kept telling the kids, hey, keep working hard. We're going to get into these playoffs, and we're going to make some noise. I promise you, if we keep getting better, we'll get hot at the right time. Snakes have done that. 2-13 in the regular season. They are in the championship game on Sunday. I will be missing it, which is difficult for me, but Teddy just told me this morning that they're going to win the game for me, which made me feel really good.
It's huge.
Not a lot of people gave us a lot of. They didn't think we were going to win. Smaller team, other teams had older players, but we believed in ourselves the entire season, and here we are in the championship game. A similar thing could be said about the Arizona Diamondbacks of the big league level. Not a lot of people gave them credit, including the two idiots staring at you right now. I believe we both took the under on the over-under season total, and they have made us look absolutely foolish. Jake, they are in first place in the NL West. 37-25 right now. I've been looking through their schedule and results. I'm having a hard time finding anything where they're below 500 in. April 15-12, May 17-10, June 4-2. 9-inning games. Yep, they're going to be above 500 there. The only one I found, one-run games 10-8, blowout games 10-7, interleague 6-5, all over 500. The only thing I found is in extra inning games, they're 0-2. I expect them to level out there as well. This Snakes team is good. They're above the Dodgers. It's in June. We talked about games matter now. This team is in first place and kind of pulling away a little bit. We have to give them credit. We don't even have to talk about the players. We know who's doing it for them. We've been kind of shining a light on them and talking about the individual performances and the guys that have come up and done it and how they've been doing it. But for their team to be in first place over the Dodgers, the Padres aren't even sniffing it. Leading the NL West. Was Evan Longoria telling the truth this whole time? We thought he wanted to just play it at home. He said, no, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to win. I didn't believe Evan. Did you?
I didn't know
Clearly
about
not.
this year.
No. We said, yeah, they got some prospects going to come up. Got some guys that are going to do some damage in the years to come. Corey Lavello's got the contract extension. Corbin Carroll's got $100 million to his name. Things are starting to go. They're in first place in the NL West over the juggernauts that we thought were going to be there. The Dodgers, the Padres, even the Giants, who are playing pretty good baseball. Snakes are there. No one gave them a chance. Similar to my youth team. No one gave us a chance. Snakes are doing it. Snaps for the Snakes. They're going to be here, people. They're the real deal.
I try to mention them as much. I did when I took the under. I said it was a happiness hedge because if the Snakes are over that, It means a fun year.
You did that a lot.
It's a fun year in the desert. I'm going to head out there in August, planning some stuff with the Snakes right now. Little teaser there. And yeah, Trev, we do mention the big guys a lot. Someone who's not in a lot of guys' books, Emmanuel Rivera, just put together a few big games. He was unconscious at the plate. And yeah, I mean, their bullpen, I guess that's where, what Miguel Castro, Chafin, Scruff McGuff, Adams, what they have done back there, that's impressive, along with Corbin Carroll being a superstar of the game. We're playing for rings in the desert, babe.
We talked about the importance of taking care of business against these bad teams earlier. 6-1 against the Rockies, 4-1 against the Nats. They won their series against the Royals and A's when they had those. By the way, they've beaten up on the Dodgers and the Giants a little bit, who we already said they've played well.
They're relentless. It's kind of, I don't want to say raised light, but there's a lot of guys that if they come up or are on the bases that can punish you in multiple ways. First place, June 9th. Play the Tigers this weekend. Gallen and Kelly are throwing. Don't be shocked if we're talking a lot of Snakes this summer. A fantastic award, Trev. Otherworldly. My award stays out west too, and this has always been a math pod. You've seen us crunch the numbers on here before. I'm going the times 3 divided by 3.
Put it back to neutral.
There is a catcher in Major League Baseball right now who has the 33rd most home runs by a catcher in Major League Baseball history. A lot of guys who have played baseball, right? He's got the 33rd most home runs from the catching position. If you multiply that by 3, that's number 99, right? And my guy, Gary Sanchez.
No.
Wearing the 9-9 for the San Diego Fathers.
I would not have guessed him.
Had 4 homers in 9 games for the Padres after they had, I think, the second worst offensive position production-wise from their catcher. And here comes El Gary, who, hey, you've all made a ton of jokes about his defense. And by the way, the Padres
Not me.
The Padres are currently happy with what they're getting from him defensively. They're more so happy with what they're getting from him offensively. I don't know what Gary still has in the tank. Do I think he could put together a nice season? I do. Because the ball still jumps off his bat. And I said this on Baseball Today when I filled in for you, and there was a comment where someone said, Trev is the opener, Jake is the bulk guy. I don't know what that means. But I do know Gary Sanchez and Trev, you believe in this stuff just as much as me. One, he's got the beard out, which you can't do that on the Yankees. Which is a little symbolic of being away from that. B, who else is on that Padres team? Nelson Cruz, one of the DR Kings, the manager of the DR baseball team. Juan Soto, who just put up a 5 for 5, a king of the DR. Manny Machado is on that baseball team, DR King. Gary, whatever you think about Gary, think about what you think of the Dominican Republic and how good that country is at baseball. Gary was still behind the dish for a lot of these DR World Baseball Classic games. And that says something, because do you think that for the World Baseball Classic, which the DR did want to win, you think all those guys I just mentioned would have been all right throwing Gary back there if they didn't believe in Gary Sanchez? When Gary runs into one, it's kind of special. And I hope he runs into a chunk, and I hope it helps the Padres get back to somewhere, maybe not catching my snakes. But, man, they were looking for anything from that position, and they're getting something right now. And Gary's like a lovable dude off the field that true Yankee fans are rooting for that guy. Not the another pass ball, Gary. Not those Yankee fans, but real Yankee fans are rooting for Gary.
I'm also rooting for Gary, and I do, like you mentioned, the familiarity of his teammates. I mean, I don't know if Gary ever actually fit in on the Mets. I know he wasn't there for very long, but he definitely fits in more on the Padres when you got a bunch of your boys on the team. That makes showing up to the park a little bit easier. It makes putting in that work a little bit easier. You know, you just feel a little bit more comfortable because you got guys that you know and you can lean on, and you can expose some truths. You can talk about things, get a little deep like you and I do late night. Gary looks like he's found that. And even, Blake Snell said, Gary's putting in the work. He looks great back there. You get Blake Snell's stamp of approval, you're golden. Is there anyone in baseball who you'd want to be improved more than by Blake Snell? I think he's up there.
Not really. He posted a golf video the other day. I almost replied to it. And then I was like,
you thought,
we're not like that. But I want to be one day. So, hey, Trev, I know obviously it hasn't been the recent years. Gary's career numbers, 782 OPS, a 110 OPS plus. Obviously, a lot of that's cooked from young special years, but there's a chance it's still in there. I don't know, injury or slumps or shifts, by the way. Slow righty guy, used to get shifted a lot. I mean, if Gary can give him around league average offensively, the Padres have been hunting for that.
What they were
getting. From the catcher position, yes.
Oh, my goodness. So, I don't know. And, Trev, is it easy to hit 158 career homers in the show?
It's not. I'm so happy we ended the show talking about my former pupil, Gary Sanchez.
Hitting coach.
You once fixed him.
The start of Coach Trev, some say.
Is that it?
Enjoy the Blue Jays Twin Series with Trevor Plouffe on the call. Everyone enjoy your weekend. Be careful grabbing other people's junk. Get the approval first.
Be Miguel
or
Cabrera
be a
on
Hall of
baseball
Famer.
Field. Jake sucks.
Be a Hall of Famer.
Also, that bald eagle story I made up. We don't have it.
Comment, subscribe, share this app.
Story.
Electric and juicy.
Whoa.
You liked this episode.
Yeah,
There were a couple of those. It was nuts.
How do cameras
You're an
work?
angel.